Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Bishop of the Bear Nick, and with me, it's Mr. Jonathan.
Also known as Gator 20.0.
I mean, you know, you got to be better than the AI version from the last episode.
I laughed so hard, way harder than I should have. And I was still giggling 15 minutes into the episode. You didn't give up on the drops. It was epic. And you didn't even run out completely. You still had some new ones 15 minutes in. It was epic. You put some work in.
There was a lot of prep time that went into that. And the worst part is, if I would have had even more prep time, I mean, I could have gone over really old episodes, but I just stuck to like those came from maybe only about 5 shows.
Yeah,
so
you need to
I have plenty of
dedicate
time.
2 pages of digital soundboard to his drops, and then you could do that for an hour easily.
What I want to do is I want to see if there's a way for me to like upload. The whole AI thing, you know, is just crazy to me. I want to know if I can upload the show just directly to like an AI bot, and then the AI can just talk back to me, because managing the drops and everything while trying to have the conversation, that was like having to have a conversation essentially with yourself, and it got very complicated after a while.
So the shorthand on that would be you have a page of replies positive, a page of replies negative, or columns of positive, negative, and then you just know, all right, you're in the first 5 minutes, so that's the first row. Second 5 minutes is the second row. And if you miss it, you miss it, because then you can do multiple shows and his responses will change invariably. And it's almost endless at that point.
So it's funny you mentioned this. So I did upgrade my soundboard app on the phone in order to accommodate this, you know. And so I have multiple soundboards. I have Gator prompts, meaning like when he says, you know, tell us, you know, where are we on the socials, you know, that kind of thing. I have Gator general, just general little comments. Gator 3 cigars for the 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week segment. The Villiger segment. The cigar review. So basically talking about, you know, just general comments about whatever cigar we were smoking. And then Gator fucked up, which is where I have like all the really gross shit that he said that I've saved. So yeah, hence the pink sock comment, you know. Anyway, no, it was a good time. It was fun. But it's nice to actually interact with somebody here. So that's good.
It's awesome that you said AI, because I just started messing with AI. I downloaded the ChatGBT app or whatever. I pay $5 a month, and I've played with it a couple of times, but in preparing for the show where you weren't really sure of a direction you wanted to go,
I never
typed
have a
in,
direction.
what should I talk about on my podcast called Cigar Pulpit? And
oh God,
it pulled up 10 things that we should talk about.
Perfect. Then we have shows for days. There we go. Well, why don't we go ahead? That sounds pretty good. So why don't we go ahead and get the cigar going? So we're smoking the Aladino Corojo Reserva.
Hang on, I have to take mine out of the tissue paper.
Oh, okay.
This is Gator 20.0.
You're being very quiet about that. Oh,
it's tissue paper.
I was gonna say I didn't even hear it. So now let's get into the differences between what I'm smoking and what you're smoking here. So I just have a brand new, you know, fresh off the shelf Corojo Reserva.
And I have one that I've been sitting on for about 2.5 years.
Oh, so you get
maybe 6 months into the production of the cigar is where I grabbed this box from. This is from the first run, but I bought it 6 months into that first run.
Fancy.
Aladino Corojo Reserva is obviously 100% Corojo, including the wrapper. The filler is the reason it's Corojo Reserve and not just Aladino Corojo is on certain plants, there'll be a genetic deformity referred to often as the corona leaves or medio tampo. There'll be 2 or 3 leaves. It's not on every plant, but 2 or 3 leaves that grow kind of straight up. And those are on the plant the absolute longest. After they harvest the Ligero, they go after those, and they have the most sunlight. They're the thickest, the densest, the most texture, and by far the strongest. So what makes Aladino Corojo Reserve pop is they use half of that leaf for the Robusto and a quarter of that leaf for the Corona, which comes out once a year.
Yeah.
When you get into the Toro and the Figurado in this line, they drop the primings down to regular Ligero. So it still has some punch, but it doesn't have what this has. So the Robusto, I think, is the best thing that they make. It has the most pop. I mean, there are some times when you smoke this, and because it's those Corona leaves, and that makes up such a large portion of the blend, there's not a whole lot of consistency from batch to batch and box to box as far as the strength level. It can be anywhere from a 7 to a 10.5. I mean, you get 2 puffs in and you can feel your fillings. They're so strong sometimes. And also, part of the flavor does come from the outside wrapper. The darker these wrappers ferment, they color sort for the box, but sometimes you open a box and you're like, holy shit, this is a Maduro. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just that particular batch of tobacco fermented darker. And when Corojo ferments darker, it gets much spicier and more aggressive, which I like. So this is a middle dark hue. There's certainly darker ones, but there's also much lighter versions of this. This one's on the darker side. It looks like yours is on the darker side as well.
It's darker. I mean, I look at now, granted, I'm looking at you through Zoom and everything. I mean, yours appears to be a little darker than mine, but you know, that's all right. It's okay.
I'm not judging.
We still love it. I don't look at color.
I don't remember. Do we do the Perdomo cuts out the federal S-chip tax on the show, or is there
no? We do the Riverman cut on the show.
The Riverman cut, okay.
Yeah,
right.
so it's time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by Riverman Cigar Company of Crestwood, Missouri. Dan the Man Ponder, he's got your he's your home for Aladino in St. Louis, man. He's got everything you need.
And he has cutters.
And he does have cutters. And you can pick up he even has a few remaining sticks, maybe a box left, I don't know, of the Aladino Candela that came out around St. Patrick's Day time. So that was a limited sale.
The best quote I saw on the MeWe's on that is a dude had one, and he goes, every time I smoke this, I at the same time wish I bought a box, and I'm so glad I didn't buy a box. They do such a good job with the Candela, but the thing about Candela is it can get to be too much too quick. So 1 or 2 singles, and if you see them on the shelf, absolutely grab 1 or 2 singles, because when you're in the mood for Candela, nobody does it better.
Well, and to your point earlier about the number 4, the Corona, Dan is sitting on a supply of number 4s from last November. So, guys, I mean, those have been sitting there aging for, 7 months, 6 months now, just on the shelf on top of whatever prior. So, if you're looking for some hard to find Aladinos, swing on over to Riverman Cigar Company or give him a call because he does do mail order. It's Riverman Cigar Company of Crestwood, Missouri. And now it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So there. I
didn't bring my fancy Calibri SV cutter. Sorry.
Really? I have mine.
I have my Lotus Jaws.
I figured you would have had yours.
Well, here's the thing is that's one of the tools that I have in my vest pocket. And when I get home, I take the vest off and let it air out because it's pretty cigar-y.
I gotcha.
Inside, I have to have my cutter in my left pocket and my lighter in my right pocket. So when I'm sitting here in my lounge at home, I have my lounge lighter and I have my lounge cutter.
Nothing wrong with having.
I sell cigars
tools
for a living, so it's not like I'm rolling so deep I can afford 2 SV cutters.
Well, that's valid.
Maybe someday.
Someday. It's good to have goals to aspire to. So right off the bat with what? I'm sorry.
On your cold draw, you're going to be able to mostly taste the Corojo. There's going to be that earthy and the threat of spice, which is going to present itself when you light it.
Yeah, it's definitely earthy.
And on the finish, or if you do a cold retro, that's where you're going to pick up notes of cedar on yours because it doesn't have the same amount of age. On mine, because it's been 2.5, 2 3/4 years, almost 3 years in this cedar box. This is my last one from that batch.
Yeah.
This one is all cedar.
All right, then.
And when I put it through my nose, a little bit of Corojo, but mostly the sweet portion of Corojo, because the cedar has kind of washed out a lot of that spice the thread of spice that's there.
Well, very cool. I think it's interesting, the differences between, the same cigar. I mean, and that's why we're doing this, is the same cigar, but, throw a little bit of age on it. Because I did just recently have a listener ask me about, how to age, and then how long, cigars are good. And it's like, you hear about people that are buying cigars that were in Winston Churchill's humidor and this kind of thing like that. And it's like, are those even smokable, or is it more just a collectible to have it at this point? I mean, like, that sort of thing.
So I have a few things in my humidor that I'll probably never smoke, that I just like to look at. And if I smoke them, they won't be in my collection. And nothing as rare as a Winston Churchill cigar or one of the Salinger procured Kennedy cigars, the H. Upmans that he scored before the embargo was signed. I don't have anything quite cool enough to be that, but I do have some one-offs that have some sentimental value because they were sort of white whale cigars that I was able to get my hands on, or bench samples from a manufacturer that I like or follow. I just got a bundle of the Skip Martin Volstead pre-released ones. If I open it, it won't be for 10 years. And I'm only going to open it to give Mike and Skip one and to smoke one myself. Otherwise, I'll just be happy to stare at it.
Interesting.
I'd rather look at it than smoke it. It's a great cigar. I regret not buying 2 bundles, but I grabbed the last one that was available. I had gone up to do the show, and when I came down, there was only one, and I'm like, all right, that's mine.
See, I would have thought you'd have scored that before. Well, I don't know. I guess you want the customers to get it. You're trying to, you're being magnanimous.
I would love to say that. That's not the case. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that we had so many of them that there'd be plenty left when I came down. And when I came down, to my shock, there was only one. And I'm like, all right, it's mine.
All right. Well, let's get this thing fired up here. I'm excited to have a cigar here. I've been working on my newspaper today. And
so to answer your listener's
one
question
earlier.
about aging.
Yeah.
There's the first mistake people make when they buy cigars is they store their cigars at a humidity that's too high. So the myth, I'm just going to dispel the myth right now. The myth in the cigar industry is 70-70. Hang on, I'm going to puff. That myth was perpetuated by companies that sell propylene glycol. And propylene glycol stops evaporating at 70% humidity at 70 degrees. So if you hold your house at 70 degrees and you run propylene glycol, your hygrometer will almost always read 70%, unless the relative humidity in your house is much, much higher and you've got a lame, cheap glass top humidor that's leaking, or you open it during the heat of the day, some extenuating circumstance, but you're going to be able to maintain 70% at 70 degrees with propylene glycol. It is way too high. So you end up keeping the moisture content in the cigar. There's nothing leaving the cigar. And what you're looking to do is get the moisture to leave, because with the moisture is going to go the undesirable flavor characteristics that are remnants of ammonia from photosynthesis and remnants of nitrates from fertilization. So getting your humidor, and I hold mine upstairs. I've got $10,000 worth of stuff in my humidor upstairs, a lot of Corojo Reserves, but I got a little bit of everything. And upstairs, I hold mine at 62%.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I hold it at 60. The unit kicks on at 58. I hold it at it kicks off at 60. Often when I go in there in the heat of the day, it gets up to 62, and I don't have to panic because 62 is fine. If it starts getting above 65, I need to go find a window unit air conditioner and get some dry air in that room, move a fan, close the window shades, something to get the temperature down and the humidity down in that room.
So 65 is your top point, is what you're saying then.
That's when I start to panic. 65, because you really, once you get much past 70, you are going to start seeing, especially with shade cigars, you're going to start seeing your wrappers crack, which most people think, oh my God, my wrapper's cracked. There must be something wrong with my hygrometer because it's reading 75.
Yeah.
And my cigar won't stay lit and all my draws are terrible. I don't know what to do. The whole key is you store everything lower, you let the cigar completely degas, and then you can go a step further. That's just if you're a regular person, you got a regular job, you're working 9 to 5, you don't want to babysit it, you don't want to do extra work. If you want to do extra work, you can do what I did, which is take this cigar and I left it out of humidification, especially during the winter months, for 2 months. Cellophane off the outside of the box. I let that box breathe. I let the cigars dry out down to pretty damn near 40%.
So you do take the outer cellophane off the box. Okay.
Yeah, when I'm aging, I do.
Yeah.
So when the cigar has dried out completely, then I take it and put it in the humidor for 1 month and let it rehydrate. Now, when it rehydrates under those conditions, it's drawing in the aroma of the cedar box that's around it. So the 3 cigar boxes that I know of that are high quality, high grade cedar are Aladino Corojo Reserva, Bandolero, and Padron. Now, the problem with Padron is you don't know if you're getting a virgin box or not. They'll reuse their boxes up to 5 times. And they have a program with their retailers where we send the boxes back to them. They call tag them, and then they send us a credit for the box. They save a little bit. We save a little bit. It's better for the environment. They're not cutting down as many trees. So all of my customers that buy Padron by the box are trained. They bring me the empty box unless they're using it to put nails and screws in their wood shop. But they bring me the empty box, and I can send it back to Padron, and then Padron doesn't have to cut as many trees down to make their boxes. But those 3 are the premier 3 when it comes to cedar boxes. Those are the right cedar, and those are the right cigars to be able to take out for an extended period of time and make the cigars much better.
With a lot of manufacturers dealing, at least a couple of years back, I don't know if it's still quite as bad, but box shortages and everything like that, you almost have to wonder why there's other companies that aren't looking at doing a similar program other than maybe just the hassle of it.
It is a little bit of a hassle, but honestly, I think except for Padron having to type in the call tag, we send them the weight of the crates, we pack the crates, we do all the work, and then they just send us a call tag, and it costs them $18 to ship it back to Miami where they're packing the cigars anyways. I mean, the boxes never have to go back out of the country. They clear customs unboxed, and they take care of the box. And most people take care of the boxing here in the U.S.
Interesting. All right.
Well, at least I believe Padron, Selected Tobacco, and Davidoff all handle boxing in the States.
All right. Well, there we go. We've all learned something new. So hopefully that information helps out the listener about aging, and then also, in terms of length of time. Now, in terms of length of time, real quick, I did kind of explain to him that over time, flavors will kind of, mute. Like if it's a stronger cigar, it'll get kind of softer as time goes on.
Yes and no.
There
is cigars that are stored in higher humidity, I believe, age out much faster than cigars that are held in lower humidity. Lower humidity, really, you're looking to either infuse that cigar with the cedar that's around it, or you're looking to really meld the flavors of the filler tobaccos and the binder and the wrapper all together as one, so you don't have high points or sharp points in the flavor profile. You have an even flavor all the way across the palate. All the flavors kind of hit you at once as those tobaccos meld together. But that's going to happen best over a period of time and at lower humidity.
All right, then. So what, I guess right off the light, what are you getting on your cigar? Because I'm getting a lot of earthy flavor and some spice.
So this is the one cigar that's my kryptonite. I have smoked this cigar thousands of times. I have never once got a defining characteristic flavor other than a little earth, a little bit of that cedar wood going on, and spice. There's no toasted marshmallow. There's no cinnamon Chinese pea pods. I want so bad to be able to say this tastes like something, and it tastes like well-fermented Corojo tobacco at this point. I've never once got a flavor off of this, and I want to, but it just isn't there.
Interesting. Have you ever gone down to the farm, Honduras?
not down to Honduras. It's probably the only country I'll never travel to.
Okay.
The airport is the scariest airport for every pilot to fly into, for
Oh
starters.
God.
The place is war torn all the time. It was scary going into Managua. And that's I talk to pilots often, a lot of pilots are cigar smokers, and flying into Managua is a little nerve wracking, but it's not really a big deal. There's other airports that are a little smaller, but you're literally landing on the e-brake. I mean, the pilot almost stalls the plane to be able to come to a complete stop on the runway, and you come to a stop almost on landing. I'm lucky I didn't blow my spine out. That was a brutal landing. So I can't even imagine going into Honduras where they have to avoid the updrafts and surf the plane back and forth from left to right as they kind of buzz the tower a couple of times, waiting for the right wind conditions to be able to land. No,
so you're not.
Thank you.
So you're not visiting the Aladino farm. Okay. Noted.
Unless I go into Nicaragua and then drive in the 8 hours or whatever it is. But even then, you're dealing with Sandinistas and people with machine guns that are going to kidnap you for money. And my stupid brother would actually send the money. That's the problem.
Ah, no, they'd be reaching out to Dave. He's got more money.
He ain't sending it. I have an arrangement. When he went to Cuba the second time after writing his expose, he pulled me aside in his office. He closed the door and he says, I got something serious to talk to you about. And I'm like, shit, he's got cancer. And I'm just like horrified. I'm like, do you have cancer? He goes, no, I don't have cancer. This is serious though. Don't fuck around. I'm going into Cuba and there's a 50-50 shot. I get kidnapped and I get put in Cuban prison for what I wrote. Nelson says it's fine, but I don't trust him. But if they kidnap me and they call for ransom, do not give the phone to my wife. Tell them to go fuck themselves and hang up the phone. Because he looks me in the eyes, serious as a heart attack. Yeah. You have to promise me you will tell them to go fuck themselves and hang up the phone. And I said, I promise. I also have told him that I'll pull the plug. If he's ever, a vegetable on a ventilator or whatever, I'll be the guy yanking the plug out for him while everybody else is hemming and hawing.
Jeff threatens that with me all the time, but see, he takes it one step too far. And the minute I start to cough or sneeze, he's ready to just take me out early. He doesn't want me to suffer, is what he says.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want Dave to suffer either. And this is something that Dave is okay with. I know Jeff is trying to kill you, but I'm not trying to kill Dave. Just if he ever becomes a vegetable, he wants to be put out of his misery at that point.
Well, I get that.
Like, we'll give you like 60 to 90 days to see if you wake up. And at that point, we're going to yank it. We're going to yank it.
It's too far gone. Well, here we go. Now we've just learned that Two Guys Cigars does not negotiate with terrorists.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Well, there you go. So what did the chat GPT correct? What
I think so.
Okay. What did
GPT, I think.
Okay. I don't know. What did AI say that we should be talking about today?
Well, it gave me a list of 10 things. And the first one was cigar smoking etiquette. Discuss the do's and don'ts of smoking cigars in public places or around non-smokers. Boring.
I don't know.
Pairing cigars with drinks. Talk about the best drinks to pair with different types of cigars, including wine, whiskey, and beer. Now, I'm a big fan of really stiff, full-bodied red, more dry than sweet, with something like Corojo Reserve. I like a Scotch as well, but my pairing of choice with a Corojo Reserve is a really dry, almost milkshakey, thick red.
I'm not much of a wine guy. I've just never really kind of gotten into it. And I've there was one gal that I was seeing for a while that she was really into it. And so I tried exploring around a little bit there, but I've moved on there. So yeah, I'm not much of a wine guy. So I wouldn't know what to pair, wine wise with a cigar.
Well, and the other thing about pairing, and it doesn't matter what you pair, because I know there's people in the program, AA, that they don't drink, but there's still pairing options. You've got ginger beer that is non-alcoholic, that's really brewed, and there's a whole cult following of that actually in the AA community, where people go out and seek out these small batch ginger beers. The thing about pairing
that's interesting.
Is people always think in terms of, okay, this is the way I do it. Is it a good pairing or is it not a good pairing? So maybe the person takes a puff of their cigar and takes a sip, just as an example. Well, that's one flavor in the pairing. If you take a sip and then take a puff, that's another flavor in the pairing. And then you could introduce a third element. So if you have, say, ginger beer, which has a little bit of a bite and some sweetness, and you have a Corojo Reserve, which has some spice and also some sweetness, the two sweets, whichever one is stronger, is going to cancel the other one out.
Okay.
So if the ginger beer was sweeter, you take a sip of the ginger beer. Okay, you got that going on. You take a puff of the cigar. The sweetness of the ginger beer is going to take away the sweetness of your cigar completely. And now you're going to be left with the spice. And then inside of all of those items, you also have the other ancillary flavors. You've got your salty components. You've got your bitters. You've got, we already said, sweet, other aromatic components. So all of those play off of each other in different ways. And that's why when you're doing a pairing, don't always do it the same way. Don't always take a puff and take a sip, or take a sip and take a puff. Mix it up and then figure out what is missing from that equation. You know what? This doesn't have a lot of salt to it, and neither does a ginger beer. So maybe get a little sharp cheddar that goes along with it. Now you're playing a game with three items
Okay.
that are dissimilar, and now you can build a real flavor on your palate, and you'll learn which order is correct to build for your palate the biggest and most complex taste that you can get. And that's what pairing is about.
Interesting. Yeah, I tend to just drink. I mean, I know everybody gives me shit about it, but I always drink iced tea, and that really doesn't add much to the cigar pairing.
Is it real brewed iced tea?
It is. I don't like the Lipton fake shit, the like instant crap.
Do you put lemon in it?
I don't. I take it just straight. No
Straight
sweetener.
black tea?
No sweetener. No lemon. I just take it straight.
Communist?
Straight iced. Yep. That's the way I do. Dirty water, man. I take it basically as dirty water.
That's interesting. I mean, I've had it. There's been times I've been out of lemon juice, and it's like, all right, I'll drink it, but and I don't mind it. It's kind of a earthy. It's very tea-like, and I get tea as a flavor often when I'm doing the blind tastings for Cigar Journal. That's one of the more prevalent flavors that I get blind. I'm convinced that the color of the band messes with our perception of flavors. Like this has yellow, and I want to say that I taste lemon zest, but I don't. I want to say it like like there's a slight little sour something that happens for 1 second on the taste, and I want to say lemon, and it goes away. It's not there, but the band's yellow.
So it's all just in your mind. I get what you're saying. Yeah, and I know a lot of people obviously pair coffee, and again, I'm not much of a coffee drinker, so like for me, coffee is coffee. So I don't know.
Coffee is, and actually, you're doing the same thing with tea. When you drink the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't have added sweeteners or cream or things that are going to alter the flavor because of its alkalinic nature, the coffee, once it's brewed, there's something about it as a great palate cleanser, and it's a cleanser in that it always brings you back to the baseline of coffee dirty, if that makes sense. And the same thing is going to go for tea. You're going to come back to the baseline of tea dirty. So you're going to have the flavor of black tea in your mouth. And if that's always the flavor, you can evaluate up and down flavors from that. Oh, this got sweeter, this got spicier, because you can always go back with one sip, bring yourself back to the baseline of, okay, here's dirty tea.
Now, I've also heard that a lot of people really like Dr. Pepper with their cigars. For some reason, Dr. Pepper is a popular soda with cigars.
Those people are called insulin resistant, and they're all pre-diabetic, and that's why they like it.
There we go. So what else does the AI suggest?
Well, actually, before I go any further on the
AI,
your comment spurred a thought. I read a review on the Alfonso cigar this morning. And I'm going to leave the reviewer nameless. It doesn't matter. But something in the review pissed me off. And I see this from time to time in reviews where the reviewer is making recommendations to the consumer based on their own wallet. And the comment was definitely worth buying a couple of singles, but there's always a but.
But
Don't buy a box because it's very expensive. Now, if you're a person that smokes one cigar a week, so a box of Alfonso is going to get you 25 weeks, and you were going to buy an Alfonso every single week, most retailers for most boxes of cigars will offer an in-store discount. Now, there's no discount available by the box online, so maybe that's why he said what he said, this person or she. Maybe it's a she. It's not a she, it's a he, but I'm not going to say the name. I did a shitty job of covering that up.
It's okay.
But so maybe the person's looking at the price online and there's no difference.
There's way more male cigar reviewers, it seems like, than female. So I think you're still safe.
All right, that's fair.
There you go.
You don't ever say to somebody, don't buy the box, because there's two things. Your job as a reviewer is to drive business to the retailer so that people want to go to your site and trust you and learn what you're reviewing and aligns with their palate. So maybe you like it and they like what you like, or maybe you like it and they don't like what you like. So you give it a low rating and that drives business. As long as you're not shitting on the cigar. I don't have a problem with low ratings as long as the reviewer is being honest and saying, okay, it burned well, the draw was impeccable, didn't hit my flavor profile, this is why I'm dinging at the points. I'm fine with that. So because people will learn to align themselves with the reviewers that they like. But to try to educate the consumer in such a negative way and say, don't buy the box because it's expensive. Well, the retailer is probably offering a 5 or a 10% discount on the box. So if you go to the store 25 times, you're going to pay 5 to 10% more on all cigars, not just Alfonso, but all cigars, plus the gas, plus your time. So if you bought a box, you save time, you save money, you save gas. It's really a win. And for the retailer, they moved higher volume product. And when retailers start to move higher volume in product, they start be able to take advantage of deals. And this is how retailers are able to keep their prices in check, because if they can buy cigars 3 times a year and buy it on deal because they know they can move the volume, they're able to keep their prices lower. It becomes a win for the consumer. So this reviewer did an injustice to the entire cigar smoking community by recommending that someone who likes this review, that tries the cigar and likes it, and would smoke it once a week for 25 weeks, not buy the box. I think that's doing somebody a disservice.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, when I come across a cigar that I like enough to buy the box, for me, budget is obviously, a conscious thought.
Well, you're a broke
right
ass
up front. Exactly. I am a broke ass hoe. So, it's one of those things. I'm not buying boxes on the regular, but when I do, it's like, it's something that I know I'm going to want. And I know I'm going to want to burn through, for a while. And again, like you said, there's typically a discount of some sort on the box. So why would you not, take advantage of whatever little discount you can get these days?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
and you don't even realize, but you're helping that shop owner move the volume that they need to be able, you're helping yourself in the long run, because that retailer can keep his prices lower because they're moving the volume. And that's the name of the game in cigars.
Now, one thing I will say, I find it fascinating. It seems like different regions of the country are box regions versus single regions. Like here in St. Louis, talking with retailers, we don't have a lot of the box buying culture for some reason. It seems like, people, they pop into the stores more frequently. They kind of use the shops as their personal humidor, and they just come in, get a few sticks, and then the next day they'll come in and grab a few more, and they just kind of go that way with it.
I'll tell you the reason. There are pockets of cigar stores in the United States where they don't put the price of the box on the box. That little silent salesman, because consumers are shy. They're strapped for time. And especially guys that have the means to buy boxes, they don't want to wait the additional 10 or 15 minutes for the retailer to be done waiting on the last customer, to come over and greet them, shoot the shit for a minute. What are you looking for? Well, I was thinking about buying a box of this, but I want to know what the discount is. Now they have to go over to the computer, see what they paid for it, figure out what the appropriate discount is, do the math, come back to the customer and say, oh, it was, if you bought the 20 cigars, it's $110, but if you buy it by the box, it's $100, $99.99. If you put the price on the box, do you think that retailer would sell just one extra box a year? Because if it's me, I'm not saying I don't have the same means that other people have. I do okay in my job, but I'm the guy that is going to buy the deal, and I'll spend a little extra right now to save money in the long run, and I'll budget my, in this case, cigars smoking. I'm not going to smoke 30 cigars because I have 30 cigars. I'm going to keep to the amount that I smoke. So I'm going to spend the money if I can see that there's a discount. And there's a million of me across the country.
Yeah.
So the retailers that don't put the price of the box on the box, and any retailers out there listening, go spend $31 on a P-Touch labeler, and you're going to spend $15 per cartridge. Get 30 cartridges. You can buy them on deal, and print the single price and the box with the discount right on it. Put it right on the box, and you will sell one extra box of every SKU you carry this year. And you don't even owe me a commission check. You can keep the money yourself.
All right. Well, there we go. So, okay.
Was that too forceful? Was that too aggressive?
I mean,
there?
no, it was fine. I mean, look, you were obviously passionate about this topic, and I respect that.
So another thing, the next thing is says discuss the history of cigars, dive into the origin of cigars, their evolution over time. And I don't know if you know this, but the origin of cigars can be traced back to ancient Mayan civilization, where tobacco was used and grown for ceremonial purposes.
Okay. This is all coming from AI.
This is, yes. Christopher Columbus is credited with bringing tobacco to Europe after his first voyage to the Americas in 1492. We know that. He discovered the Taino Indians while he was looking for gold. The first cigar factory was established in Seville, Spain in the early 17th century, and smoking cigars quickly spread throughout Europe at that point.
Okay.
In the 19th century, you have Cuba coming into the game with making cigars there. And at that point, they were known for their high quality and rich flavor.
At that point.
Well, because later on, because the other thing you can do with AI is you can ask follow-up questions on the different points. So
interesting.
One of the points is the Cuban cigar industry was nationalized by the government in 1960. And many cigar makers fled the country to continue their craft elsewhere. So that made me ask the question, what happened to the economy in Cuba? And the nationalization of the Cuban cigar industry in 1960 had a significant economic impact, both in Cuba and globally. The Cuban government took control over the privately owned cigar factories and brands, including well-known names like Partagas and Monte Cristo. And this led to a decrease in the quality of Cuban cigars, as many experienced cigar makers had already left the country. So this is where you start to see the decline, is 1960 moving to now, where you have Chinese-owned distribution and the pricing model of Bangkok. Is it? No, it's not Bangkok. It's Hong Kong. Sorry, Hong Kong. The pricing structure of Hong Kong. So a regular Cohiba is $100, and a Bahique is $300 starting, and it goes up from there. And they haven't fertilized the soil anymore. They haven't done a damn thing. They haven't changed a single process. They haven't flown to Nicaragua to see what it's like to fly a drone over and get an infrared scan and spray the fields with the nitrogen that it needs where it needs it. They haven't done anything. They just raised the price. So that makes that cigar not only completely out of the reach of regular cigar smokers, but also has fueled the industry of fake Cubans. Fake Cubans are now at the highest levels they've ever been because they can sell what they were. I bought my first box of fake Cubans for $6.50 a piece in Mexico. Got ripped off. Found out, actually, Dave told me when I brought it
Yeah.
back. This was years ago as a consumer. But now they can sell those. They're not going to settle for $6.50 because
Well, yeah, because the real ones are so
that's
much
in a
more.
regular box is 100. They're going to sell them for 30,
Yeah.
and they're going to get it.
Nothing like slicing open a cigar and finding hair and fingernails and newspaper clippings.
Well, where do you think they get the flavor from? It's
Well,
not the
yeah,
tobacco.
not the tobacco. Oh my God. Well, you know, I've never smoked fingernails and hair, but I would imagine it would be an interesting flavor profile. Did you smoke those fake Cubans after Dave told you they were fake?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were good cigars. I liked them, and that's
Yeah.
what he said to me. He said, "Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want to just keep believing that you bought Cuban cigars?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, you just told me the truth, didn't you?"
I
and
mean,
he goes,
technically, like, okay, you can make an argument you bought Cuban cigars. You just didn't buy the Cuban cigar you thought you bought.
"I bought a cigar that had a Cuban band on it." Is what I did. I bought a Mexican cigar in Mexico that had a Cuban band on
it. Okay. Well,
so in Cuba, on the street, you can order from anybody that is willing to sell them to you anything you want, because all the cigars are the same. So all you have to do is say, okay, I want Bahique 56.
yeah.
They're $3 a piece as long as you pay in US cash. They're $3 a piece. You want the hologram on the box, they might charge you an extra $10. You want the numbered box, it's a little bit more. But for $3 a cigar, you can get anything you want. And I said no in Cuba, and I gave the guy $5 for the one that he gave me because he said, "Here, I want you to smoke this, and I'll be back tomorrow." I gave him the $5 for the cigar because I felt bad. I want him to at least make some money. I am buying a box of cigars for $3 that's unsmokable, and I bought every front mark I could get my hands on. I smoked damn near 50 cigars while I was there. They were all terrible. Once you got to they were okay for the first third. Once you got to the halfway mark, you started getting heavy ammonia. Very metallic, minerally. Because on the initial light, you could tell it was Cuban tobacco. It was very floral, very aromatic, a lot of middle primings, which the aroma comes from the middle of the plant. But by the time you got to the middle, that chamber was so laden with ammonia that you just got tongue bite.
Yeah.
And got to put it down. Let's light up another one. I brought 50 cigars with me. Thank God. Because every morning I smoked something good and then went back out and
killed your palate with everything else the rest of the day.
Oh my God, it was brutal. And when I tell you, we were sitting at table 3 at the gala, the final gala. The first table was a bunch of sheiks that were bidding on the one-of-a-kind $1 million humidors. They had the headdresses, I mean, very elaborately dressed, and I guess they were sheiks.
So you guys were down there for the festival?
Habanos Festival, yeah.
Okay.
2015 or 16. The table 2 was Cigar Aficionado and their crew, and we were at table 3.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, when they started, at our table was the head of the Cuban FBI. She was a smoke show, by the way. Smoke show. So we're sitting there. We sat on our hands during the auction because she was starting at the cheapest one started at $50,000 and it went for $250K.
Dear God.
Oh my God. These guys were just bidding. Yeah. Wave the hand. $250.
Must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, nuts. It was nuts.
Oh my. So I don't know. I had a thought and it just totally blanked out of my mind. So speaking, you mentioned Cigar Aficionado. So like I don't know if I've talked to you about their number one pick being a Cuban cigar and everything. I mean, like, you know, thoughts.
It's not it's not good for the industry to have the magazine of record, the arguably, if not the most recognizable magazine of magazines.
Yeah.
Maybe Time Magazine has a little bit more cachet, but they are the magazine of record for cigars.
Yep.
And to tout, to even review cigars when your publication sells in the United States,
It's based in the United States.
They only take advertisers from companies based in the United States or with U.S. distribution. There may be some watches that are not based in the U.S., but
Yeah.
By and large, their cigar companies are writing checks out of Miami and Tampa to put the ads in their magazine, and they just give their advertisers the middle finger time and time again by putting a cigar out that is supporting communism and is not supporting the very industry that is supporting their magazine. It's
how do you feel
bullshit.
if you're Rocky Patel? You've gotten second place, what, twice behind a Cuban cigar now?
And listen, Rocky has done more for this industry as a manufacturer and as a person than probably anybody else. And that was before he got on Tucker Carlson.
I would say his lobbying efforts. Yeah.
That interview put him over the top as far as, I mean, the man could do no wrong in that respect. But I mean, you don't throw the guy a bone. He comes out with his 60th cigar and it's good.
It is good.
But it's better than any Cuban. I mean, at $17, I still think it's good. It's not overpriced. It's not underpriced, but it's not overpriced. At $17, it's a good cigar for $17. So, you just give all your advertisers the middle finger. It's not. I recommend that you don't run your podcast that way.
I mean, I try not to.
Oh, if I was a manufacturer advertising, I would pull out so fast. The readership on that magazine has dropped so much.
Well, and I've been threatening to do it for a while, but I have the numbers. Like, I have the numbers. It's all public. And a little tease, the numbers that they're putting out, they make no sense. But that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Because see,
here's what I'm going to say to you.
Okay.
The next time I'm on this podcast, and let's do it sooner rather than later.
Okay.
That's the episode.
Okay. Because here's the thing. They always, by law, since they're mailing under a periodical permit, so they get cheaper, rate for their postage. I do the same thing with my newspaper. You have to run a statement of ownership every year. So I've been looking at the statement of ownership, and it tells you what you need to know.
So it's public record. You're not even really pulling the curtain back. You're just teaching people how to read.
Well, yes, it's a complicated form, and the thing is, when I've been looking at their records or their statements of ownership over the last however many years I've got, like I said, some things don't make sense. Like, for example, one year maybe the print number is X, and maybe the next year the print number goes down by 3,000, but maybe the digital number goes up by 3,000, and then the next year the print number goes back up to where it was 2 years ago, but the digital number drops back down accordingly. I mean, there's some fuzziness.
Well, what I bet happens is you get somebody with money behind them, like when Raphael's aging room gets number one and he's backed by Altatis. And I bet a bunch of retailers got free copies of Cigar Aficionado courtesy of Altatis. And there's your 3,000, because there's 4,000 cigar shops.
There you go. There could be your bump.
3,000 of them carry Altatis products, if not more, right? So the better accounts get some free publications, or maybe their top 100 accounts get 100 magazines. Here, sell these, or give them away, with a box of the cigar.
Throw them in your lounge so everybody can look at it. Something like that. Yep. I don't know.
That's the play I would do if I worked in marketing. There's
a lot to it. I don't know. Like I said, I need to take just a little bit more time. I've been threatening to do it for a while now.
That'd be your biggest listen to episode. We
can do it. So anyway, so what else does the AI suggest that we talk about?
All right.
Actually, I've not been talking nearly as much as you have, so I'm a little further along on the cigar than you. where are you at on your cigar? I'm kind of in the latter portion of the second half.
I just crossed the first third. So this is typically the first real change in the cigar where
I was smart enough to bring two, by the way.
Nice. It starts off a little peppery and spicy, and then it tampers down. And then you get into the second third, and I always know where it is because you hit tips, meaning the roller has broken the tips off of the ends of some of the tobacco and worked them in specifically at that mark to create a change flavor wise. And it is always at this spot. It goes, the nicotine level goes right up to the maximum level. I can tell every single time. I don't even have to look at the cigar. I know it that well.
Okay. Well, I will say the amount of like peppery spice on the retrohale has picked up. I know you don't retrohale. I'm not going to ask you to. It's not, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm going to do with this.
That's
I'll
fine.
Die.
That's fair. I don't want that. So, all right. So what else are we being instructed by the AI to
now, this
discuss?
is an interesting one. The health benefits of smoking cigars. Explore the potential benefits or drawbacks of smoking cigars, including their effects on the body and mind. Interesting that AIs go in that direction.
It is, because let's be real, it's all about relaxation. And you're right. It's interesting that the AI went with more of the positive benefits and not so much talking about, threat of this cancer or that cancer and whatever else that everybody always tries to label tobacco products with.
Well, and the big no-no is cigarettes, and who knows what vape is doing to us.
Lord.
Well, because that's through the roof, and with vaping, you can do it anywhere. And people that are vaping more than they were smoking.
I'll tell you, Illinois, I just got a news report about this the other day. The State House and State Senate have approved an amendment to the Illinois Smoke-Free Act that will ban vaping indoors. It will be now treated as cigarettes and all the other tobacco products where you got to be like 25 feet from a door and all this kind of bullshit.
Lame.
I mean, yes.
There's no secondhand vape. There's nothing to it.
No, I get that, but like, I'm kind of like, okay, I part of me is I get where you're coming from, but my standpoint is, if I can't do it, I don't really want them to do it.
No, that's no way to live your life, Nick.
I'm a bitter guy. I'm a bitter guy about this, and in that it
if
bothers
we don't
me.
Fight for them, if we don't fight for them and play offense,
but they're not gonna fight for us.
They don't need to. But if we fight for them and we win, we get our foot in the door, and we can move on to the next thing. Because eventually they're going to tell us we can't smoke in our own cars. I'm going to be arrested. They can kiss my white ass if they tell me I can't smoke in my house or in my car or at work. I will be the first one arrested. I promise. Take me.
I mean, so where is New Hampshire in terms of marijuana, like recreational use?
The governor, it's been decriminalized, so you get a ticket if you got up to an ounce. Anything over an ounce, I believe, is intent to distribute. But the governor of New Hampshire kind of has a hard on to get it legalized for medicinal purposes, to get his foot in the door.
That's
to be able to move it to full recreation.
Yeah.
But the constituents in New Hampshire don't want it legalized.
Okay.
So every time somebody tries to push it through and it goes to votes in towns or in any way is polled upon,
hard no.
75% of the state of New Hampshire is saying hard no.
Interesting, because obviously here in Illinois it is legalized. There's recreational use, and the reason I bring that up is because you can start a pot lounge so much easier than anybody could go out and start a cigar lounge. I mean, the rules and regulations on cigar lounges are just insane versus, I mean, a pot lounge, there's a established precedent. There's a little town south of here that has one in a strip mall. So
So
they're literally sharing a wall with another business. Whereas a cigar bar or not even cigar bar, you can't have alcohol and cigars at the same place here in Illinois. But a cigar lounge has to be a minimum of 15 feet in all directions from another building and can't have another business or a residence in the building.
And the killer is that all of the data shows that if you smoke 1 to 2 cigars a day, and this is not just monograph number 9, it's monograph number 9, and it's all 3 FDA studies done around 2007, 2008. They mined the same data that monograph number 9 used, and they all showed 1 to 2 cigars a day not only is not an increase in overall mortality, it's a decrease in overall mortality than a non-smoker. All causes of death being 1.0. It's like 0.92 in some on coronary heart disease, 0.97 in lung cancer. You're less likely to get it as a cigar smoker than a non-smoker. Now you take the data from marijuana users that inhale, and you see an increase in things like lung cancer and the overall mortality, because you don't inhale cigars. You're not supposed to pull smoke into your lungs. That's poison. That's why you choke. So even if I don't know the chemical makeup of marijuana, I know cigars are alkalinic and your mouth is alkalinic. So the little bit of nicotine you get, the 1 to 3%, passes through your cheeks and your mucus area, and that's how you get the nicotine. If you pull that alkalinic smoke into your acidic lungs, you've got problems, because you're going to have two things battling with each other inside. Cigarettes are acidic, and all the data says that if you smoke less than 10 cigarettes a day, statistically speaking, you're at a dead even with a non-smoker, if you can keep it to less than 10 cigarettes a day.
That's interesting. I mean, not that I'm advocating for it, but that's interesting. I'll tell you one thing that I was talking with a friend of mine about, and spitballing it is, and you brought it up earlier regarding vape, is we don't know what vape's doing to us. Because let's be real, there's decades of research on cigarettes. There should be decades of research on cigars. I mean, it's out there, but whatever. But vape is a relatively new product. But I would also say that in terms of the impact of marijuana on the human, physical site, body and everything like that, I don't know. Maybe there's more research out there than I know. But given the fact that it's been illegal for so long, and there hasn't been, there's always been usage, obviously, but it's been illegal usage. Whereas now you have so many people doing it now that are, legally doing it. You have to wonder what the impact of marijuana usage, the long-term impact on marijuana usage is.
Long-term impact with marijuana usage is a slowing down of mental capacity. Short-term memory starts to go. Long-term memory starts to suffer. We used to call them burnouts in high school.
Yeah.
People that smoked all day, every day. And by the time they hit 30 years old, they're just idiots.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. So in small doses, yes, it does help alleviate some anxiety. Certain strains can increase appetite if you're on chemotherapy. So certain strains can help you get some sleep. So anything in moderation, I guess, is okay. But it's the abuse of it, or the potential abuse of it. And I got no problem. You want to shoot H, it's your body. Don't get behind the wheel. That's where the government should be involved, is your activity is causing irreparable harm to other people. This is why I'm against centralized medicine, not to go off the rails here, but as long as we don't have centralized medicine and you have to go and have a job that has benefits, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
If we get into centralized medicine, the danger of that is now the government has the power and authority based on the interest of the taxpayers' dollars
to tell you
regulate every single thing that you do. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm a libertarian, so I don't want the government involved in anything. Fix the roads, make sure I have internet, and make sure my phone works everywhere. And the government won't hear from me. And I don't want to hear from them.
It's fair. Well,
arrest
and
me if I'm swerving all over the road because I went drinking and driving, or heroin and driving, or whatever.
See, therein lies the thing. I remember when Illinois was looking at legalization of the recreational marijuana, I was talking with police officers and they were saying, look, part of the problem is we don't have roadside sobriety tests for pot. It's not something that's out there and that we can do. And, we can kind of tell if somebody's high, that sort of thing, but you can't do, it's not like with a breathalyzer. You can blow and you get a distinct, percentage of blood alcohol, and you can, kind of use that in a court of law. It's a different situation. And so it kind of led to that whole question of, well, how do we enforce if somebody is high or if they're, you know what I mean? It's
let's be
fuzzy.
Real. Can you really get so high that you can't drive a car? Is it possible?
I don't know. I've never done it, but that's the thing. I mean, it's possible. I would think maybe. I remember being out in Colorado in 2015 to going to my friend's wedding, and I'm driving down the interstate and there's a car next to me and they've got the windows rolled up and they're hotboxing. You couldn't even see in the car. We could smell the pot in our vehicle with the windows rolled up. I mean, they were going at it pretty hard, in the car, one lane over.
Were they swerving?
No, now that you say
I rest
that.
My case.
There you go. So, all right then.
I just don't think I don't think that the concern about the usage of marijuana and being impaired is as prevalent as the use of alcohol. With marijuana, I've seen so many times where, I'll be at a party and there'll be a group of people politely standing off to the side, which you should do if you're at a party smoking a cigar as well. You just remove yourself from the general populace.
That goes back to that first point.
I brought it full circle. That's called a segue. But somebody will get to the point where they're high enough.
Didn't the creator of that fall off a cliff on a Segway?
Yes, I believe he did.
I'm going to say, I think he killed himself on one of those. Anyway.
So
I don't think it was suicide. I think it was accidental. But the point is, I do think he died on a Segway.
Way to derail the segment there, Dave. Point 2.
I mean, I could have talked about a chimpanzee riding on a Segway.
That's fair. So, but I've seen people get to the point where they're high enough. I've never, ever seen somebody ever say, no, thanks, I'm drunk enough. And there's the difference between marijuana smoking and alcohol. And I've seen, listen, with cigars too, there's a time when I hit my max.
Yeah.
I've had enough cigars for the day and I stop.
Yeah.
There's no, for people that are concerned that it's habit forming or there's an addictive quality to it. The thing that you may be addicted to is an hour of time away from your wife because it's great wife repellent. You may be addicted to that, but you are not addicted to the nicotine level. It's so low that you have a better shot of being addicted to eggplant parmesan because all nightshades have nicotine in it, and eggplant and tomatoes, the vape industry wanted to extract the nicotine out of eggplant and tomatoes if that got them out of FDA regulation.
Really?
Because it no longer was tobacco. This was one of the questions that was asked. No one even reported on this. This was one of the questions that was asked. I had audited the conference call early on when FDA was doing the doing conference calls and doing the comment section while they were evaluating whether or not this is what they wanted to do. And one of the vape people asked that question: what if the nicotine is not derived from tobacco? Would that exempt a product from FDA regulation? And the guidance came back and said, no, if it has nicotine, it's a tobacco product.
Well, then there's a lot of restaurants in the Hill neighborhood in St. Louis that probably ought to have the FDA being another door, but
every Italian barbecue, man.
There you go.
They got to be there.
So then is Dave addicted to eggplant parm?
Have you seen him?
I mean, I don't know if he likes eggplant parm.
He would be my exhibit A for eggplant parmesan being addictive.
I'm like, I mean, I know he likes chicken parm, but, I don't know about eggplant parm. But okay.
Well, does he like chicken parm, or is he just particular about what he calls chicken parm?
Well, that's valid. The whole fried chicken debate. I had that. I actually brought that up with somebody recently, and they agreed with you that if it even, no matter what it is, if you're taking a piece of chicken and you're frying it, it's fried chicken.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
get
saying
it.
you're going to go to a restaurant necessarily and order fried chicken and get chicken tenders, but I've done it. It has happened.
It's happened.
That's what that restaurant calls fried chicken. It's boneless fried chicken.
There you go. Okay.
So the next AI topic
I was gonna
is
say, what is it? Where are we?
cigar
Going out on
accessories.
the fried chicken thing.
Every cigar smoker should have cigar accessories. You should have a lighter, a jet lighter. I recommend Vertigo Cyclone. It's the one I use, not just in my little den here, but I carry it in my pocket at work. And the reason I carry it, I can use any lighter in the store. When employees get hired, we give them a lighter. What lighter do we give them? The Vertigo Cyclone. Why? Because when that employee strikes the striker, the lighter has to ignite, because there's a silent sales pitch that's happening from the employee to the consumer. You should have one of these because I have it. And it works every time. I mean, I've put my cyclones through the washer and dryer.
I've done the same.
7, 8 times.
Maybe not that many times.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate. I'm tall and thin, so I can't afford for my jeans to shrink. I can afford the waist to go in. I'm skinny enough, but I can't afford the leg to shrink because then you could see my socks, and I don't want that. So I dry my clothes on medium low. So the lighters never exploded on me, but
that's good.
They always work better after the washer and dryer too. All the carbon gets cleaned out of the jets. Them shits work great. So you need a jet lighter, preferably Vertigo Cyclone with the patented Vertigo big ass tank. You need a good cutter. Vertigo makes a very good, inexpensive Jaws cutter that has the serrated blades. Calibri makes the cutter you have, the SV cutter. They also have an S, which is just a straight cut. They have a V, which is just a V cut. I had anxiety trying to pick which one I wanted. So I got the SV because it had both. It just was easier.
The only thing I'll say about the SV, and this is a very, very minor quibble, it is a little heavy in the pocket.
Listen.
Here we go.
You're a bigger guy.
I am.
Your sweatshirt already has enough heft to it. You're not going to even notice, and you don't even notice when it's in your pocket. It's just
I notice when it's in my pocket in my shorts, because what'll end up happening is like the weight. Eventually, I'm tugging on the pants, pulling them back up.
You need to buy shorts with a drawstring or wear a belt. That's
I wear a belt, but I don't know. I guess I need to go up a hole in the belt. I don't know. We'll see.
So you need
That's
a lighter,
not a bad problem
cutter.
for me.
It's not a bad problem.
That's not a bad problem. Anyway.
You also, if you're buying more than a handful of cigars, you need a humidor. If you're buying a handful of cigars to smoke over the next couple of days and you come and buy the shop again, fine. You don't need a humidor. But if you're buying more than 6 cigars every 2-3 days, start buying by the box, get yourself a humidor. There are points programs available at cigar shops where you may even be able to earn yourself a humidor. There's lots of ways to get them. You can win them in a raffle, whatever. But
I was going to say, a lot of times you see them at events where they're, doing like the drawings and that sort of thing.
The magic number, by the way, for winning almost every time at a drawing is 3 boxes.
Really?
Yeah. Because what they'll do is they'll say, okay, there's X amount of tickets if you buy a box, there's X amount if you buy 2 boxes. And then what you say is, if I buy 3, can I double up on the 2 boxes? There's no retailer on the planet. If let's say the number's 30 tickets, there is no retailer on the planet that is not going to give you 60 tickets for 3 boxes. Now you're 20 tickets a box. Boom.
Right in there.
In like Flynn.
There you go. I mean,
I'm sorry, 30. What's the raffle we're doing right now? The raffle we're doing right now is for McAuliffe, and we're giving away a putter. So it's buy a box, get 10 chances. Buy 2 boxes, get 30 chances.
Okay,
if the guy buys 3 boxes, am I going to give him 60 chances? Of course. I want that 3rd box.
And he wants the putter, so there you go.
And he's probably going to win the grand prize. He's probably going to win more than one prize.
Well, yeah, with 60 tickets in the drawing, that's valid. Okay. So 3
I learned
boxes
that.
is the magic number.
Yeah, I learned that from Dave, who learned it from a customer. His customer won every raffle. He won something in every raffle. And he finally went up and said, "How do you do it?" Because people think it's fixed, that I'm pulling your tickets out. And we don't even put people's phone numbers. They have a Stogie Points account. So we write their Stogie Points number on it. So you couldn't look in and know who it is. If you wanted to cheat, you couldn't.
Okay.
It makes it random.
Yeah.
So the guy's Stogie number would get pulled every time, to the point where Dave had it memorized. He knew who it was when he read it. So he's like, "How do you do it?" He goes, "Well, mathematically speaking, if you're offering this amount of tickets for 1 box and this amount for 2, if I get 3, I can double up, and boom, mathematically, I now captured 50% of the tickets that are in the pot. So I get a 50-50 shot of making it. You got 3 prizes. I'm going to get one of them." So
Okay.
the guy won all the time.
I guess it all depends on your budget and how bad you really want that prize. But, if you've got the money, go for it. And
And if
it's
they're
not
gonna
like you're not getting cigars for it.
Correct. And a lot of
Yeah.
times with events, they're giving away free cigars in addition to that.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I know guys like Rocky, they do 2 and 3 box deals where the second item of swag has real value.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm typically not buying 3 boxes at a time, but well, I'd take that back. When I was out at your place last September, I think I bought at least, I know I bought at least 2, because I know I bought a box of Abuelo and I bought a box of the Cigar Authority Lancero, which I still have some of those left.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember if there was a 3rd box that came home with me. It's very possible. I can't remember. There was a lot of cigars that came home with me out of that trip. I'll say that. But anyway,
it was a good trip. It was great to have you on the show.
Yeah, it was fun. And I mean, I don't currently have a ticket for the New England Cigar Festival. I do.
What the hell are you waiting for?
Well, I have my son that weekend, and switching weekends is not exactly the easiest thing to do. And
this far in advance?
Well, I'll just leave it at that. It's not the easiest thing to do, but but yeah, it sounds fun. And ironically, before you guys had announced what the micro wrestling, you guys were teasing, like a big thing with the little people or something like that. You were teasing something. And I know Jeff and I had talked about, maybe we ought to get micro wrestling at Pulpit Fest, because he's friends with one of the promoters' wives or something like that. And we priced it out and realized, yeah, this is going to be too much for our budget. And then you guys announced it. And we're like, well, now we really can't do it, because it's really going to look like we ripped them off.
No, now you have to do it.
No. Oh,
you guys have ripped off so many great things.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was like $10,000 if we want to keep the ticket money, or else they get like all the ticket money. And so I don't remember. It was a lot of money to get them.
You're getting ripped off.
Yeah.
I don't want to discuss on the air, but when we get off the show, I'll tell you what we paid. It ain't 10,000.
Well, that was the price we were quoted.
Dave would have done it for 10,000, but it ain't.
10,000. I think I've look, they've come through this area and I've threatened to go a number of times. The problem is they're always at strip clubs. And for whatever reason, I don't know why they're always at strip clubs, but they always are at strip clubs around here. And I just, I just didn't want to go. But one of these days they're going to hit an actual bar and I can go and watch them micro wrestling.
I hear it's a good time. I can't wait for it. We just cut a promo. I think you met Larry when you were in. Shorter gentleman. He's almost a little person himself. Older guy, silver hair, looks like Mike Cusano.
Possibly.
So anyways,
sounds familiar.
He and my assistant Trevor went to this
latest. Yes, I do remember
wrestling.
Larry. Yes.
So
okay.
he loves the wrestling. And so they go, and they had said to Dave, we're going to go early, and we already talked to the promoter, and he's going to let us cut a promo for the Cigar Expo, because it's the same troupe that's going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Dave writes up a script and sends them with the script. The little people memorize it. But I think they messed up the twoguyscigars.com. So Larry comes on screen and he like pokes his finger into the man's chest, like just a little bit down. He's only a little taller than the guy. And he says, that's twoguyscigars.com. Get it? Twoguyscigars.com. And the guy slaps a headlock on him and starts giving him a noogie. And he punches him in the sack and says, I've never lost to a midget. Punches him in the balls. So I don't know if that promo is going to make it on the Cigar Authority, but if you go to the Cigar Expo Facebook page, you can watch it. It's a riot.
It needs to. Now, technically, 4'11" is the cutoff for height.
I think that Larry is 5 foot tall.
Okay, so I'm gonna say he might have cleared it by like an inch, but yeah, 4'11" is and below is considered little person. So anyway,
different fun facts that we learn here on the show.
I was gonna say
that we address the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take you to task on something.
Okay. Oh,
now,
okay.
I'm going to teach you about negotiating.
Okay.
When you negotiate and you lay something on the table, like 4 rotisserie chickens.
I'm open to 4 rotisserie chickens.
And then you remove 3 rotisserie chickens. That leaves you with less rotisserie chickens in the negotiation, thereby making your offer less appealing.
Or maybe I removed them so that I could bring them back later.
But you just don't say it. Then you can always up the ante and say, okay, we're going to go to 4 rotisserie chickens, but you went to 4, then you went down to 1. Now I don't get a rotisserie chicken, and I happen to like rotisserie chicken a lot.
I mean,
you would have had my vote.
I'm all in for the rotisserie chickens.
It's too late now. I'm soured.
Oh, but see, you're still going to get a rotisserie chicken out of the deal.
I thought the bit about the
I thought the Cracker Barrel gift cards.
Cracker Barrel gift card was good, but the 17-cent voucher at the casino. Oh my God.
Yeah. Now did you happen to listen to the follow-up with Trey Mac Shipley from Aladino, where he offered up the Bill Belichick rookie card and a variety of other
I did hear
questionable products. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one.
The Spanish Fly.
Really awesome.
He did take back the toothbrush holder. We'll just call it a toothbrush holder.
The thing I dig about Gator the most is the excitement that he has and the salesmanship he has about really mundane shit, like his MREs, the possibly expired MR.
Trust me, they're probably expired.
To pop those in, he was so happy with himself.
Just thinking back to the one time on the show that we did eat an MRE, and I can guarantee you they're expired. That cheese spread that he had, it was multicolored. It was very, very nasty.
Could have been port wine.
No, it was more of a green, not a red kind of multicolored.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Well, you're more of a wine guy than I thought.
Well,
than you gave yourself credit for.
I'm aware that I don't think wine comes in green. Maybe it does, but none that I've ever seen.
Maybe a St. Patrick's Day limited edition or something.
You go. There you go. Like a Candela wine or something. Well, I don't know. Negotiations are still, being mulled over on our side. We're debating, where we want to go next. But
it was
we'll
such
see.
a brilliant concept, and the stealing of the broke ass hose and putting it on a loop. Brilliant. It's brilliant. I actually wanted to come on and pretend like I was mad at you, but I just have to say to your listeners that the folks on the Cigar Authority and the folks on Cigar Pulpit are cool, and a lot of shit gets said to help each other's episodes and do this cross-pollination, but it's all in good fun. It's good natured. We all can take a joke, and I just look forward to whatever the next either edition of this joke is or whatever the next thing is, because you guys you get the humor of the parody and you take it just far enough. It's never annoying. It's very good and it's very well done.
Oh, I still think back to the episode that we did where we actually did legitimately parody you guys. And we had
That was
a
the
lot of
first
fun.
one I listened to.
We had a lot of fun with that one too. Oh man. Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's just all in fun, and I'm glad that we're able to do that because I mean, all it takes is somebody to get butt hurt and then suddenly the fun goes away. So I'm glad that everybody gets in on the joke.
With the amount of shit I take on our show, you know that I'm never going to get butt hurt.
Mhm.
It's all good. All good.
Well, good. Well, okay. So we've addressed the elephant in the room. Negotiations still. By the way, you guys are saying that you're reaching out to my people. Again, I'd like to point out I am my people. So
well,
like
I think
I
think
never
that
heard
is
from
the
anybody.
that is the joke, is that we're waiting for you to have people to be able to reach out to them.
Oh, okay. I do need I would give my left arm for an Ed Sullivan.
He ain't cheap, but
I'm
very good.
not even necessarily saying I need Ed Sullivan himself, but just a Ed Sullivan, But I don't know, and no offense, he's totally your MVP right there.
He's really good.
He just ninjas in and cuts you down to nothing, and then just ninjas right back out.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing about him. And he does that off the show too. I mean, there's no safe spaces with him. He's just crotchety old man all the time. All the time.
God.
In fact, I refer to him as the C word often. And when we're on the show, I don't say that word. I don't say it on any podcast really, but I'll say to him, Ed Sullivan, has anyone called you that today? And when you hear me say that next time, that's what I'm talking about.
Codger. There you go. Okay. All right. So what else does the AI suggest here? I know you still have more.
So today's cigars are produced in many countries around the world, including Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Honduras. And the cigar industry has faced challenges in recent years due to increased regulations and anti-smoking laws. But cigar smoking continues to be a popular hobby among enthusiasts. And that concludes our AI. Oh, no, there's a cigar myths and misconceptions. Sorry, I missed that. Debunk common myths and misconceptions about cigars, such as the belief that they are only for men and that they are harmful to your health. Well, we already debunked that.
I was going to say. And, Gator's not here to say it, but there's nothing sexier than a woman smoking a cigar.
True. My girlfriend, in fact, on our first date, I think partially because she was nervous about being on the first date, but she's a retired cigarette smoker, still vapes, which I'm trying to get her to stop. But on our first date, we went to dinner. We're going to go for a walk. It rained. We went to dinner. So we go to dinner. And at that point, I had to come clean that I'm a weird eater because I'm ordering a burger with no bun and
the lectins,
no fries. Exactly. And I tried not to bore her with the lectin bullshit, but so I get my double cheeseburger with no anything and wrapped in lettuce. So whatever. She may have even ordered the same thing and just did away with the carbs because girls are always obsessed with not eating carbs. So then we're going to go axe throwing. Can't find an axe throwing place that's open at 9:00 on a Monday. There's no bowling alley open.
Yeah. Mondays are rough days for dates. So
we had rescheduled the date a couple of times. It was supposed to be on the weekend. Something happened with her kid, blah, blah, blah. So we go, I said, how about coming to my place for a cigar? And I go, I don't have sex on the first date. So I'm not trying to bang you. I'm not trying to take advantage of anything. We'll go out, we'll sit on my back deck and we'll have a cigar and get to know each other. And that'll be that. And she said, I'd love that. And we had a cigar on the first date. And I snapped a picture of the ashtray with the 2 cigars in it at the end. We only smoked maybe 2 inches and then it was getting late. And but I went over how to cut, how to light. And it's such a valuable thing to have feminine energy in your life that is okay with the cigars. Like
totally.
Okay is exceptional. she actually likes it. We'll sit out. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays, so she gets out of work at noontime on Sundays, and we'll sit out and catch some rays, and I'll be smoking my cigar, and she just loves the aroma. So that is worth its weight in gold to me.
Well, let me ask, did her dad or grandfather smoke cigars?
Yeah, her grandfather on her mother's side was a cigar
There you
smoker.
go. There you go. I found that if someone in their personal past was a cigar smoker, they tend to be way more okay with it than not.
And I think I would maybe go all the way up to altering what cigars I smoke in front of someone. But if they hated the cigars, it'd be a deal breaker.
Yeah, well,
you got to
yeah,
be at
because let's
least
be real.
at least tolerant.
Yeah, because let's be real. It's part of who you are, and you're not going to change that. I mean, you're in the same boat I am. I'm old enough that I'm not going to change my spots. You know, it's like I am who I am. So accept it, or we can move on.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
and the part about there's something about smoking a cigar with somebody else. Now, obviously, she'll smoke a cigar with me sometimes, and my daughter will smoke a cigar with me sometimes.
Yeah.
But just having somebody else there while you're smoking the cigar is nice because it'll take up some of the gaps in conversation. But then there is someone to talk to, which is very nice.
The conversation.
And the conversation, I think, is everything. I would probably draw the line too. I wouldn't go down as far as acid. Like, I'm not going to smoke an aromatic to appease somebody. At that point, I'd just be like, you know what, this isn't working out.
Okay. I will say the Java Mint isn't if you're going to do an aromatic one, that's not a bad one, because that one is basically a thin mint Girl Scout cookie.
Man, I just don't know how PC I should be here. So I'm going to not. I'm not going to say to you, do you know how I know you're gay? I'm not going to say that.
I mean, you can.
I want you to know I'm thinking.
But I'm just saying.
And if you have to bleep that out, I understand.
No, I'm not bleeping it out. No, I get it. I mean, but no, I'm not doing it on the regular. I've probably had one. Well, I had one
every week.
Not too terribly. No, God, no. I mean, I maybe have had 2 this year, which is 2 more than you've had this year, but that's okay.
I smoked an inch of it when it first came in so that I could speak about it.
It's a Girl Scout Thin Mint cookie.
It is a Girl Scout Thin Mint cookie. It's got exactly that. I just don't, I don't trust the flavoring agents. I don't trust flavoring in other stuff either. I'm not putting flavored creamer in my coffee. If I'm in a cycle in my diet where I'm adding heavy cream to my coffee, it's just heavy cream. And I'm doing it because I need to hit a calorie threshold in fat. It's the only reason. If I haven't hit my macros.
Well, speaking of which, haven't you've been bulking up, right?
I'm up 20 pounds since January 4th. It's a virtually impossible amount of weight to gain. But I've done a lot of research. I have hacked the shit out of my body. The only supplement that I'm taking other than vitamins is creatine. I eat a shitload of red meat. And recently in the last month, I've started cycling in carbs by way of sweet potatoes and twice cooked rice, which is a resistant starch, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to hear that. But just so I can replace my glycogen stores from heavy lifting.
Okay. So part of Dave's counter offer to us was to beat the weight. What are we talking? I mean, that's the thing. You know, we're sitting here. It's like me and Jeff and Gervais, and you know, by the way, Nick is very, very happy with Barry saying he was only like $1.15. He's very happy with that. But anyway, the point is, like, we don't even know what we're going up against here. I mean, you know, because I got to start shoveling food down Gator's gullet. You know, I got to get him up to Barry weight.
I think you just have to put it in front of him, and he'll just eat it.
Yeah, but you know, it's a matter of the amount. That's the thing. I need to know where to stop.
If he gets all of his calories from French fries, you got everything covered. He'll be insulin resistant, but he'll be fine. You do
Yeah.
have the appearance of having a cameraman because that camera follows you.
That's weird. I
And
don't know why that would.
it zooms in and out. How does it do that?
I have no damn idea. I just have my iPad on a tripod right now.
What's following you?
I mean, well, here, I'm just, son of a bitch, you're right. It is.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching it.
I'm watching it too now. That's really weird. Yeah, no, I don't know.
And it zooms in and out sometimes when you put your hands up, it zooms out.
Weird. I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe this iPad's smarter than the old iPad that I was using. Because the
Maybe.
other one, because I messaged you before the show, the one I was going to use, the battery was dead. So I grabbed the other one because the one that with the battery dead, that one had a fall in one of our episodes, and it got a little damaged. So I got myself a new one, but I haven't used it for this yet. So I don't know. Maybe there's a difference in the camera. Who knows?
Could be.
I don't know.
I'm very interested in the new chip they're putting in the iPads where you can do all the music and video editing on it. That is going to be a game changer. And I think I can plug my DJ controller into it and operate one of the DJ programs with it, which would be badass.
Oh, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. I will say I like using my iPad for things like this because it's just so much easier than bringing out the laptop and getting everything going. But we tried to use what was it? I think it was called StreamYard, for this. And they said it worked on an iPad, but man, it never did. I tried it twice. In fact, one time was with Dave, and it was just so poor that I gave up, and that's when we rescheduled, and I just restarted up my Zoom account. So I don't know.
I forget. Ed Sullivan had mentioned one program that records both audios with the video, but it records the audios separate and then syncs them in a file that you can download at the end where the lips match up and everything's perfect, but you don't get the cancellation that we get every time we talk over each other.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because that's the one problem with Zoom is that you do get that cancellation.
But you're working with a professional who knows how to talk when you stop talking most of the time.
That's true. Unlike Jeff, we'll just talk over everybody the whole damn time. But so why don't we now go ahead and do this? Because we've been talking. Let's do this now.
We all need to live united, but one must go. Brought to you by United Cigars, makers of La Giana Havana, Abuelo, Red Anchor, Firecracker, and of course, United Cigars. Distributors of Jose Dominguez, Garofalo, Montosa, and Terra Nova, and the highly acclaimed Atabey, Byron, and Bandolero. Buy United, Smoke United, Live United, United Cigars.
I got a one must go if you don't have one.
Well, I mean, I was going to throw one out, but if you want, you can throw yours out. This is fine.
Sure. So one must go. You're putting together an outfit. You've got white shoes, white pants, white shirt. Which one do you lose?
Oh, dear God. I mean, first of all, if you wear all three, you're going to look like a hospital orderly.
By the way, the white shoes come with a matching white belt, obviously, because we always match our leathers.
Well, of course. But yeah, you're going to look like a hospital orderly if you're wearing all of that at once. I would say the pants.
I would say the pants as well.
I would say the pants. I think, you mix it up because the white on white with the pants and the shirt, different. That's going to look weird just in and of itself. The white on white with the shoes and the pants, meh. I think you need that differentiator in the middle.
I agree. And you don't have the rules with the white shoes and the white shirt that you have with the white pants. You can only wear them between the two holidays at the beginning and the end of the summer and all that bullshit. So you can wear white shoes anytime.
I don't pay much attention.
You don't even have
much attention. I don't have white pants.
So it doesn't matter to you. And you don't own a seersucker suit either.
I'm fat. I don't wear white except maybe a shirt. It just doesn't. Like me in white pants, it's just not. I'm going to look like a cloud bouncing down the street.
I never thought of that way.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah. Black
Fair
is
enough.
slimming. Darker colors are slimming. Well, see, I was going to go a different way. I was going to go more your own personal preferences here. So just based off, listening to you on the show, I know that you are you're obviously an Aladino fan. You're obviously a Perdomo fan. I mean, I just saw the mug earlier, and I know you like the Nelson Alfonso cigars. The Bandoleros and the Byrons and the Atabes.
You're a
And
piece
so
of
I was
shit for making me pick this.
so I was gonna say one must go. One of those three.
I'm gonna say it has to be Perdomo that goes.
Wow. What would all the listeners do? They're not gonna get drunk on Saturday anymore.
Well, this is just for your show. I'm not saying
Oh,
this shit on my
okay.
show.
Okay.
Nick actually listens to our show. I'm safe here.
Burn. All right. Well, fair enough.
It all boils down to what am I using the cigar for the occasion for? So I smoke Aladino I smoke it every day.
Yeah.
Whether I'm at home or not. So I smoke it every day. So that has to stay. For birthdays, for Christmas, holidays, special occasions, I always get some sort of selected tobacco product, a Byron 1850, Alfonso, Bandolero. So, and I got enough variety there where if I just said, okay, I'm going to keep selected tobacco, I could bounce around price points and still be
exactly.
happy.
Yeah.
With Aladino, I can move around through his whole portfolio. With Perdomo, I really only smoke sun-grown, and it's typically my second or third cigar of the day. So I guess I would just smoke an extra Alfonso or Bandolero or Aladino, and I could survive.
Fair enough. And you make a good argument. Now, personally, I mean, it's a little easier for me going in that direction because, I don't really, I don't have. Well, now that I think about it, there is one store now that's carrying the selected tobacco stuff here in the St. Louis area. But I mean, I smoke way more Aladino and Perdomo, on the regular. So for me, that would be the direction I would go, is to cut those. But after having smoked them, especially up in Two Guys in September, I mean, it would be a hard cut to make. But yeah.
Well, that and Perdomo's not an advertiser on your podcast.
No, he's not. He's not. I mean,
I'll always cut the guy that's not an advertiser.
Thanks for pointing that. Well, that's true. That's a valid point. All right. We can get out of this because it's getting awkward.
The One Must Go segment was brought to you by United Cigars. United, we smoke.
No. The Hill Cigar Company in St. Louis, they just recently brought on United Cigars. And so now we have a place locally that we can get Atabes and Byrons and Bandoleros and all the fun stuff. So,
yeah, the two best cigars I've ever smoked in my life are the Alfonso number 2 and the Byron 1850 Torpedo number 2.
I actually gave my dad I don't know which one it was. It's a Toro, an Atabe for him to smoke. He's retired. He just recently, like this year, essentially retired. And
it's either a Delirios or a Ritos would be the Toro size.
Okay. And I just saw him this past weekend. I was like, hey, did you smoke that? And he's like, no, he's like, I was waiting for the right moment, when it just kind of like when everything came together and it's like, I knew at that moment everything was kind of done. And just the way it's kind of gone down without getting into too much detail, that right moment hasn't quite hit. So I don't know what he's going to do with it. He is getting ready to go on a trip over to Rome for a little while. So I was like, dude, smoke it in Rome. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, life is absolutely too short to sit on the special ones for too long. Smoke them. When I die, there won't be very many expensive cigars in my humidor, I promise you.
Well, we know there's going to be some of those Roma Craft ones you were talking about
earlier.
Yeah,
there'll be the Roma Craft ones that they weren't expensive. There'll be Aladinos, there'll be some Bandoleros, but the high end stuff, They're bought for special occasions, and I just look for reasons to smoke them. It's
Well,
Sunday and it's a beautiful day out. I can sit there and enjoy that cigar. What, just because it's not my birthday? No, I can sit there and enjoy that cigar, and
yeah.
it's not my birthday, and it's just a nice day, and this was the perfect occasion, and you just make that occasion, and you take the hour and a half to just enjoy whatever's going on around you.
No, that's that. Well, no, that's a really
Because you
good
can always
point.
buy
And
another one. It's not even at, I mean, the Byron 1850 in a non-tax state is $50. In a tax state, maybe it's $65. Even at that price point, everybody can afford one cigar. So if you smoked it and you enjoyed it thoroughly, and then you had a birthday coming up, you buy it again, or you tell somebody that's your favorite cigar and you have them buy it, and that's your gift. And then
Yeah.
you have another thing to celebrate. Find the moments to celebrate. That's probably the number one lesson that I learned from my grandfather as a cigar smoker is I handed him a box. It was gifted by Eric Hansen. It was called Second Growth. And it was made by Hendrik Kellner Jr. for Hendrik Kellner Sr.'s birthday.
okay.
Secret crop grown, secret project worked on, very, very high-end cigar. And when Eric Hansen went down and smoked one of the samples, he just saw the wheels sitting off to the side and smoked it and said, I want that. And they're like, no, you don't understand. This was for this project, and we did it, and we smoked it. We had the party. And he goes, however many are left, give me a price. I'll take them all. And he went back and forth with them for a while, finally got it, hired a shipbuilder in Portsmouth, New Hampshire to also bought Second Growth wine barrels from France, had them deconstructed and shipped to the shipbuilder. The shipbuilder built the boxes. I still have one of the boxes, only 1,000 boxes ever made. I still have one of the boxes. Gorgeous, gorgeous box. Unbelievable cigar. Anyways, he gifted it to my grandfather who had called into the show early on. And at the end, I go, listen, he's like half in the wrapper as far as Alzheimer's. He's probably a scotch in on the day. He's not going to remember what you said. And he goes, I'm buying it for him and we're sending it to him. I go, you don't have to send it to him. At least let me give it to him because I'm going to see him in a couple weeks. So I give it to him. Knowing who he was, I brought a second box of cigars, Jose Dominguez, Torpedo Natural, and he handed out those cigars to everybody that wanted a cigar. And I went around behind and explained to them what the cigar was, that it was a gift from this man for Grampy. Just, can I trade you this cigar? Because it didn't matter to the person. It was a cigar for a cigar. Put them all in. And he and I smoked the last two. And it was then I told him that they were $32 cigars. And he inhaled a little bit and choked and was like, I never would have smoked them if I knew they were $32. And I said, that's why I didn't tell you.
That's why I didn't tell you. Yep.
You got a chance to smoke that cigar 19 times and enjoy your time with it 19 times. And now the 19th time you're smoking it with me and I'm enjoying it with you. And this is what life is about, is finding those moments to sit back and take that hour and a half to really reflect on what's going on and enjoy your time. Because life's too short.
See, and going back, that's the health benefit. That right there. It's that mental health benefit
for sure
that you get from cigars. So, well, we can also get in the Villiger segment here real quick. I still don't have a drop. I should have.
Villiger.
There you go. It's Villiger Cigars, guys. Head on over to their website. They've got the store locator. You can find some great cigars. Villiger de Nicaragua is one of my favorites. The La Libertad is one of my favorites. They've got great cigars. You're going to want to try them. Villiger Cigars. So this is where we talk about Villiger. So this is where we've been talking about what we've been watching and enjoying, entertainment wise. Do you, I don't even know. Do you watch much TV?
I own a TV. The girl has subscription services. I don't subscribe to anything except for YouTube. So I don't have to deal with YouTube commercials. So I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, diet stuff, exercise stuff. It's boring.
Yeah.
But on Netflix, there's a movie called A Man Called Otto.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's the Tom Hanks movie, right?
Yeah. So what you have to know about the movie is if you've ever seen the movie Turner and Hooch.
Okay.
Take Turner move him forward in his life 40 years. His wife has died. He's lost his dog. He's miserable and discovers the value of the community that's around him, and also comedically attempts suicide multiple times in the movie. But it's it's very funny how it plays out. It's not even meant to be a comedy, but you can't help but laugh when he fails miserably to kill himself. And then each time he learns a new lesson and very feel good movie. You'll cry at the end, but A Man Called Otto, very good.
Okay. All right. I've still been watching the Larry Sanders Show and getting through that. I know it's old, but obviously I didn't watch it when it was on originally, and I just love the dry humor of that show. It's just been great. And what's been neat is the fact that it was done, back in the early 90s. So you're seeing all these guest stars, and remembering back what they were doing at that time, like David Spade. I mean, he's on it. He's stupid young, and he's talking about his SNL, getting on SNL and whatnot. And it's just, I don't know. It's been fun, but I'm trying to think of what else. If anything,
I'm a big fan of the show Peaky Blinders.
That's on my list. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh my God, is it great?
Like The Sopranos is my all-time favorite show.
So it is The Sopranos set in England in whatever, late 1800s. They have cars. So late 18 to 1900s, early 1900s. It is unbelievably good. Violent, like The Sopranos, but
yeah,
very, very well done. Phenomenal character development. I mean, by the time you're in the 5th or 6th episode, everybody. They do some flashbacks into people's lives, and you start to understand the characters and their flaws, and you just look forward to the next episode and the next episode. It's very binge worthy.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. I did see a preview today for the second, Extractor movie. It's one of those action movies with Chris Pratt. It's going to be on, I think, Netflix, but I did see that there's going to be a new special of, I don't know if you watch it, The Grand Tour.
No.
Okay. So did you ever watch Top Gear?
Yes.
Okay. So the three guys.
American Top Gear, not the British one.
See, you watch the bad one. The British one's the one to watch.
I see the British one on the YouTube Shorts, and it does look funny, but
but you got to watch it with Jeremy Clarkson and James May and Richard Hammond. Those are the three guys. They were on it. Jeremy Clarkson said something, offensive, and BBC dropped him. And then the other two guys, they walked with him, and they went off to Amazon and started the Grand Tour. And so those three guys are just fucking hilarious together. And they've got a new special coming out on Amazon. I feel like it's sometime in June. And they just go off to these like locales now and just get shitty cars and drive around and deal with all the mayhem that happens with their cars when they break down in the middle of the freaking desert or some shit like that. I love that show.
Awesome.
Because it's kind of cars and travel log. And then three guys just bust each other's balls.
I do have Amazon Prime, so I probably have it, right?
You have it. Yep.
All
yep.
Right.
So, well, there we go. Well, okay. Well, that's Villiger. I haven't really watched a whole lot lately. I've just been busy. You know how that is.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so what else do we have to accomplish here? Well, this is going to be the part of the show where it is video only content, because now I'm switching the buttons on the board. And so this is the part that's exclusive just for the people that watch on YouTube. So I don't know if there's anything really controversial you want to throw out there. Now's a good time for that.
I'm working on an episode with No Dave, and he doesn't know this, and he's not going to watch the YouTube video because he listens on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I'm safe here as long as nobody rats me out. So one of the bits I want to do is 10 things that you don't know about David Garofalo, because he's not going to be on the show, and he's done similar shit about me. So people don't know this about him. Tap dancer.
No shit. no offense to Dave, I wouldn't have thought he'd be light on his feet like that. But, good for him.
Yep.
Good for him. Well, maybe it's all the time as a pro wrestler. It made
Could
him
be.
nimble
So
on the feet.
I need to sit down with Mama G and just ask some questions and get 10 things that we didn't know about David.
Would she rat him out though?
Oh yeah. For me,
Okay.
I'm like the son she never wanted.
Oh, okay.
When there's heavy shit that needs to be moved at their house, or she needs a board cut for one of her creepy dolls she makes. She doesn't even know how to use a cell phone. But my phone number is one of her speed dial numbers.
Okay.
So when she has something that she needs, she just calls me and I take care of it.
Well, let's be real. If she called Dave, he's just going to call you.
Correct.
There you go.
She just cuts to the chase.
All right.
Yeah, there's a couple of times she needed to dump some furniture, and so some of my living room furniture is from her because she needed to get rid of it. She gets her
That chair?
No, this was from on a estate sale that I was able to get in. I was given a bunch of stuff that they needed to clear the room out immediately before they put the other stuff on sale. And they said, if you can come up on this day and take it all, you can have it. So I went up and grabbed it. And my plan is to eventually build an apartment in my basement. So I now have all of the furnishings to make an apartment.
There you go. Well, cool. Well, let's go back to the audio now. All right. So,
and that's why I can never say that on a podcast. I would only ever say that on video because you heard it.
Yeah, it's
So
fair enough.
I can't have people knowing that.
I mean, I'm shocked that you even admitted it, even on video, but such is life.
Well, I just feel like the 3 people that watch really deserve to
know. I got to give it to listener Paul. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. It's Paul 4 numbers. He comments on the YouTube videos quite frequently. So, he's one of our YouTube people. He saw that.
Perfect.
But there we go.
Paul, keep that to yourself until I do that show.
There you go. And I have a follow-up question. I'll wait till after we're done with the follow-up question, since that came up during that. So why don't we now just do this to get this out of the way? This would normally be the time that I give some information about My Monthly Cigars, but I've hired that out this week. So take it away.
My Monthly Cigars is a premium cigar subscription service. It comes in a variety of different size boxes at affordable prices. Use offer code PULPIT and get free shipping on your first box and 20% off any items in the online store at mymonthlycigars.com.
That's offer code PULPIT. Thanks. We did one segment of Pinky's Fun Facts with her, and I need to get in touch with her and see if we can bank up a bunch of them. She has all these really wretched fun facts, but they're like, she's like, I have a fun fact, and it all started. I was having a conversation with her, and somehow or another we got on the subject of Fire Prevention Week, and she said, fun fact, did you know that started as a response to the Great Chicago Fire, because like 15,000 people lost their homes and all these people died and shit. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, how is that a fun fact? It's like, what's next? Like, hey, fun fact, did you know that Hitler gassed like 8,000 freaking kids and blah, blah. And so like, yeah, she has really dark fun facts. So, I want to get the fun facts going again.
I don't know any fun facts. I don't think.
The one that she did before we had to life happened and we had to stop that segment was that fun fact, back before people had bowls, they would use the skulls of their defeated enemies to eat from.
All right. I'm glad I know that now.
There you go. Now you know. Anyway, so what else do we need to accomplish here? We've discussed the ongoing negotiations. I don't want to get into that too far because let's be real.
You can't be conferring with the enemy.
No, I was going to say
coming up with
as feels like a side conversation. I mean, I don't want Dave getting all bent out of shape about that. And then, we did all the chat AI stuff. So, well, we're available on the socials at the Cigar Pulpit as well as at Naked Gator, NEKKID Gator. That's his page. Then we have the Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group on Facebook where everybody's having a good time, just constantly ripping on the two of us and having fun with that. And then we have Twitter, where I still contend Twitter's going to end up being the last refuge of the damned for cigar smokers to promote their hobby.
I just had to double check my Twitter handle. I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Oh, okay.
I am at Mr. Jonathan DJ. That's MrJonathan. D as in door, J as in jerk. Mr. Jonathan DJ on Twitter. I'm very active. I post cigar stuff, pictures of what I'm eating, outfits, regular stuff that I do.
Okay.
I'm also active on the MeWe's.
I would say you have the MeWe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I post on YouTube, but it's all dance stuff on YouTube. So you can follow me there if you want to. It's Mr. Jonathan on YouTube.
Okay. We're on YouTube where you can watch this fun stuff. And then we do need your calls for Ask the Boys at area code 863-874-0000. You can get in on that. That'll be
oh my God.
It's the most stressful.
It's the most stressful episode you guys do. Because
Why?
Some of the questions I have the answer. And sometimes you're like, oh, I don't really know the answer to that. And I'm like, it's fucking Maduro. That's what it is. It's Maduro. It's a process. It takes 3 years or whatever the answer is. Also, while we're doing the socials, I don't want to forget, I am on a podcast called The Cigar Authority. We are on YouTube. We're on the Facebooks. We are on the MeWe's, and we are on the podcasts, all podcast catchers. Just follow The Cigar Authority, and you'll get this show, but better.
Well, fatter?
Mean,
we're trying. We're trying.
Fatter? Well, you'll get this show, but fatter. How about that?
We're trying. Well, I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, you guys have a person up on us too. That's the other thing. This whole beat the weight challenge.
Ed Sullivan only weighs 200 pounds. He's nothing.
That's the 200 extra pounds could make the difference.
There's 3 of you. Sack up.
Well, I mean, I guess technically between you and Ed Sullivan, it probably adds up to one of us.
I weigh 188.
Oh dear God.
If you need me to, I can drop 10 pounds like this.
No, I think I'm in agreement with Dave and Barry. You need to probably keep adding some weight.
Yeah, they go. So, I get 12 more to go. When I hit 200, I'm going to stop lifting as heavy and I'm going to go back to maintenance.
There you go. That's healthy. That's good. Anyway, well, very cool. Well, Mr. Jonathan, I want to thank you for taking time out. I know this was a last minute ask and everything, but
yeah, no problem.
This is a good time. And let's talk about the cigar a little bit. I did end up firing up my second one, and I'm in the second third of it, and the earthy flavor has definitely dominated the second third of this cigar. I haven't gotten.
Well, when you get down to this far, I got about an inch left.
Yeah.
This is literally the sweet spot. This is where the smoke gets hot, but this is where the smoke takes on its sweetest flavor. If I were to characterize it with a flavor note, it becomes more of a slightly spicy brown sugar.
Okay. That's nice.
That's burning my fingers. I got to put it down. I tried.
You tried. So then in terms of, you obviously smoke this cigar on the regular every day, and then now you have your aged one. What sort of differences would you say? I mean, obviously the cedar, but
the cedar is the most
differences?
Prevalent thing. But the other thing is what we discussed at the beginning of the show is the tobaccos. I know it's all Corojo, but it's 3 distinct parts of the plant.
Yeah.
And those flavors kind of combine, and you get a cigar that has fewer sharp notes. The Aladino Corojo Reserva right out of the box, I would put up there with something like a Padron, which is a little on the sharper side flavor wise and a little more aggressive in your face, a little more peppery. When you get the aged ones, the pepper diminishes. You don't lose the nicotine. It still is a full strength cigar, but that's creepy.
It's the best.
This is what you get for
Oh
starting the
my
show
God.
late.
Well, I didn't. Yeah. Well, I didn't think to bring out my ring light. Otherwise, I would have. Anyway, so now it looks like I'm telling spooky stories around the campfire with you.
So that's the major difference. When you age a cigar, you really just take down the sharp notes and it becomes a smoother. So if you think in terms of cheese, if you were at extra sharp cheddar without the age, then you age it and you get more of a mellower, a creamier cheddar.
Gotcha.
It's a
Well,
terrible,
perfect.
It's a terrible analogy because cheddar's only good the sharper it gets.
Oh, well,
Terrible.
it's okay. It's okay.
I wanted to say like American cheese, but that's a shitty analogy too. I the cheese thing, I just blew it. I blew the whole thing.
I think people get the point. I think that's
All
what
right.
matters. So anyway, well, Mr. Jonathan, seriously, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We'll
We'll do this again very
we
soon.
will talk again.
Maybe in a couple weeks, and we're gonna blow the doors off that magazine.
Oh yeah. No, I will get that information all put together. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mr. Jonathan.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. Now we have the 30-something seconds worth of music.
Can I tell people to stick the lid end in their mouth because they might like it?
I have a funny story about that. So, you've heard me reference the Smoking Butts and Tapping Ash guys, the barbecue team they also have their podcast. I'll wait for this to end. This will be the Easter egg. So Travis, the one guy on that team that we always tease him about how he can't say his M's, he apparently did stick the lid end in his mouth and proceeded to singe his tongue. And then as he realized what he had done, he pulled the cigar back out of his mouth, but it had a little bit of ash on the end of it. And that it hit his tooth. And so he ashed in his mouth as well.
Oh,
yeah. So he did not recommend doing that.
There's only been 2 times that I've consumed ash. And it's because my brother and I play this ridiculous game called hashtag, where anything goes as long as you say hashtag before the ash leaves the cigar. And you just have to deal with the consequences. So my brother has ashed in my food.
Ew.
And I ate it, and he has ashed in my scotch, and I drank it. So it has happened.
You've gotten him back though, right?
Oh yeah. He is ahead of the game though, because he once hashtagged me. He put a cigar in my gas cap area, like behind the door, and put a note that said hashtag motherfucker. And so I open it and a cigar falls out. It scared the shit out of me. I thought I was going to blow up. The cigar had been out for days,
gas.
But I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, fun. Well, what's the worst one you've done to him then?
The worst one that has happened is his stepson didn't say hashtag, and he shot the ash directly into my ear.
Oh,
and I could hear it sizzling my skin in my ear.
Oh God.
And I punched him in the jaw, just straight shot like a cartoon, like Thor, like the Incredible Hulk punching Thor in that movie. Just punched him, and he's holding his face, and he's like, "What are you punching me for?" And I go, "You didn't say hashtag, so you just put ash in my ear and burned me, so you had it coming." And my brother goes, "He has a point." So that's the most fucked up one. I mean, I've got him in the hair, in his hood, down his shirt, up his shorts.
So it's not necessarily your food per se. It's just it's
anything
somewhere
goes,
you tag
as
it with
long
ash.
as you say hashtag before it leaves the cigar.
Okay. Well, noted. And I don't want anybody playing that game with me. So anyway, well, Jonathan, thank you so much.
All right, Nick. Thank you.
Later.